Hello, everybody. Welcome to Attitudes with Andy. My name is Andy, and this is a community where we all get to learn about happiness and well-being so we can build our base level of happiness up. Yeehaw! So if this is a place where you want to be, please feel free to press follow or subscribe on whatever platform you are on. Today, we are talking about anxiety, signs that you might have anxiety, and kind of things to do to calm it down so we can live a nice life, not in anxious modes. Obviously, quick disclaimer, I am not a professional at all, and this is not medical advice. This is just me saying my own experiences and what I do. Okay, so first of all, anxiety. This is something I used to think, oh my God, I definitely anxiety? I don't feel that. What are you talking about? Like, no way. I was in major denial. And whilst I would not say I have anxiety, I sometimes experience feelings of anxiety. And do you know what? I think that's okay. And I think that's normal. I think we all at some point in our life or during the week or, with certain situations, we might feel a little bit anxious and that's okay. So these are the things that have really helped me. First of all, this morning I was feeling really anxious. And so I've pulled myself out of that state. Obviously, we're here for the vibes. So let's start at the beginning of the day. So I didn't realize that actually in the morning when I kind of sit down to tune into my body, I am feeling like a little bit anxious, a little bit like, ooh, what's going to happen? Not like crippling anxiety where you can't get out of bed. I've only ever experienced that once in my life. And if that is you, I am sending you so much love because that is so difficult. And I respect you so much if that's how you feel every single day of your life because, that day that I felt it years and years ago, I literally called my friend and she had to come over to my house and just do life with me that day because I was so anxious. And so it really opened my eyes to maybe how people feel all the time. So the anxiety I'm talking about is more just little bits of anxiety, not crippling anxiety because I can't really relate to that. Anyway, so yeah, in the morning I have realize that, I do feel a little bit on edge and a little bit like that. And that's fine. So that's why I have my morning routine at the moment, which I'm really, really loving. And so I will either wake up, make a matcha nice and slowly. It used to be a coffee, but obviously if we're feeling a little bit anxious and then we add coffee, that is adding fuel to the fire. I highly, highly recommend not doing that. Okay, so I'll make a little matcha and journal. I'll write down all the things I'm grateful for on a particular topic. So, for example, I might write down, I'm so grateful for living on the Gold Coast. And then I'll go into detail. Like, I'm so grateful that I have the beach. I'm so grateful that I have such a healthy lifestyle. I'm so grateful for all the friends I have, etc., etc. And so this really brings you into a state of gratitude and presence. And then that helps calm the anxiousness. Then I will do a breath work. This has been the number one game changer that changes my state. So if you haven't tried breath work, I highly recommend you giving it a go. I just honestly do like a little 5-minute breath work. It doesn't need to be anything intense. Personally, I find Wim Hof's breath work a little bit too intense for me, but I like the Cool to Be Conscious daily guided meditation on Spotify. That's literally like 5 minutes, okay? And so what it's doing is it's literally changing the energy in your body. It does feel a little bit intense when you first start, but give it a go and things are shifting. Then after that, I will do a very quick meditation. I'm going to be honest, I'm not one of those people who will just sit like a Buddha for 20-30 minutes. I will do like a 5-minute meditation and I'll either really just try and focus on my breathing to be in the present moment, or I will again think about things that I'm grateful for because that expands your heart. It gives good energy. And then I end the meditation with a visualization of what I want my life to look like and feel like. I don't get extremely specific, like, yeah, I need to be driving a purple car in Hawaii on the 27th of December, 2028. That was random, but more like feeling how I want to feel in the future and the impact I want to be having. And that feels so expansive. If you've never done visualization, highly recommend, because it will really alter your energy. So that's kind of like my pre-morning situation that really grounds me and calms me. And afterwards, I usually feel either significantly less anxious or just like not anxious at all. Okay, the next thing is with coffee. I will have it, if I am going to have it, I'll have it after food, because having it on an empty stomach, guys, not a good idea, especially for the ladies, for our hormones, not a good idea, but it will really spike our cortisol, because if you have I'm pretty sure if you have coffee without any like fat with it, it'll like just boom. Like, you know how you get that spike when coffee hits, but then you have a major crash. So to combat that, I will have that after food, but then I'll also add a teaspoon of MCT oil into my coffee. And so I don't know the science behind it, but I'm pretty sure it like slowly releases the caffeine into your bloodstream, so you don't get that high, and you don't get that dip. You just get that nice level of energy. And honestly, I really notice it when I don't add the MCT oil versus adding the MCT oil. But yeah, give matcha a try as well. Just make sure you make it well, because if you don't make it well, it can taste horrible. Because that could be a good little replacement, because you get the caffeine energy without like the coffee anxiety, because that's not fun. Okay, so I'm just reading my notes. Yeah, so that's how I set up my day. And then throughout the day, it's always nice to kind of check in with your body, how you're feeling and all of that. But something that I absolutely adore, and I don't think I've told anyone this before, but if you see me out in public, you're going to know what I'm doing. But anyway, one of my favorite things is if I'm feeling just my chest is a bit tight, or I'm feeling really anxious, I put my hand on my heart and I press down like pretty hard, so that I can just like feel it there, and it just feels so nice and supportive on my body. And I will close my eyes and I'll just repeat, I'm safe, I'm loved, and I matter. I'm safe, I'm loved, and I matter. And I'll just keep repeating that until I feel like I've calmed down, until the words are really sinking in and my body has relaxed. Okay, so that is a technique I use when, I am feeling a little bit anxious or nervous or whatever it is. And, sometimes if you don't want to say those words, you can just put your hand on your heart or your chest kind of. I've got it in the middle here. But it just feels really nice and comforting and relaxing. And I honestly do this like when I'm meditating and stuff and all of that. If you're in a meeting and you're a bit nervous, you can put that there. I mean, it might look like you're feeling your boobs, so hopefully it doesn't look like that. But, you can always, if you're in a situation where you are feeling a bit anxious, I think the best thing to do is to be like, I'm just going to go to the bathroom. You go to the bathroom and you can do that as well. So that is one of my tips and tricks. Another thing that is really good is doing 4 breaths in, 8 breaths out, okay? So I wish somebody was here to count with me, but 4 breaths in, 8 breaths out. Do that about 4 times, and it's just bringing your breath back to the moment. It's telling your body, I'm safe, everything's okay, it's all fine, and all of that. If you're in a super, anxious state and you are just feeling like you're stuck in it and you can't get out of it, some of my favorite things is 1, exercise. And I usually like to pick an exercise where it's quite high intensity. So I'm kind of thinking about the movement, or like thinking about how hard it is versus like what's on my mind. So like going for a run or doing a HIIT class, or maybe doing weights, and using like different techniques, because you need to focus on the balance of that. I love to have a shower because that feels like a warm hug. So that feels really nice. Or honestly, watching a movie or a TV show that just like distracts you from your anxiety when you're at a peak state can be super, super helpful if you are in a position where you can do that. So those are kind of my tools for a situation like that. And then the last thing is when you're in your anxious states, you can definitely be caught up in your head. Your brain's filling in the blanks for whatever it is you're thinking about. You're thinking so fast and in the future. And, you know, sometimes just calling a friend or a family member or someone you love and trust and being like, look, the gremlins are talking to me. I call them the gremlins. And they're just saying some negative stuff and I just need to speak them out loud. Okay. And so, you know, check with them. Do you have the space to hold that? But if they do, it can be really, really helpful to be like, oh, this person didn't text me back and now my brain is thinking this and that. And I love saying, you know, like when I know I'm in my anxious state and I'm speaking to somebody about how I'm feeling, I love saying my brain is telling me or my brain is thinking, because you're kind of taking yourself out of that. Instead of being like, I'm thinking this, I'm feeling that. It's like my brain is assuming this and thinking these things. And I know maybe that's not true, but that is what my brain is thinking. Okay. And so that can be really helpful as well, to not necessarily identify with the feelings, but know that it's not necessarily you that's having these thoughts, if that makes sense. That really helps me. And if you don't have a trusted friend or family, or you just kind of feel too anxious to even speak to somebody, I love to do a massive just brain dump in my journal and just write out whatever is on my mind. And, you know, sometimes I'll write like 4 pages, but it just feels so nice to get it out there, especially if you're a woman. We tend to really love getting things out there and expressing it. And so I think that can be really helpful. I don't know about how guys like to deal with things. I feel like women like to talk about things and guys kind of pull back a bit, but maybe this could be a really helpful thing for men, because maybe they don't want to speak to their guy friends or their girlfriends about this thing, but maybe journaling it out could make you feel just a lot more refreshed. And then the alternative to that, if you're a talker like me, sometimes I love to just do a voice note as well and just talk it out and get it through. And the last thing I want to end with is a quote by Tony Robbins, and it's like, stay in your head and you're dead. And it's just the concept that like sometimes we all get wrapped up in our head, wrapped up in our thoughts, and that's kind of what causes anxiety. And if you stay there, that's where the danger happens. And so just recognizing things, taking these actions that I've just explained to try and shift your mood and to get out of it can be so, so valuable. All right. Usually just doing an activity that's completely different to what you've been thinking about can really help calm you down. And then once you've calmed down, maybe then you can talk about it and stuff. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. I hope this was helpful. Let me know how you go. And if you guys did enjoy this, you can come over to the Instagram if you want. Come say hi at Attitudes with Andy. You can press follow and subscribe on whatever platform you're on. And if you haven't given a review yet, I would really, really appreciate one if you're feeling crazy. Anyway, guys, thank you for listening as always. And I will see you guys next week for another episode. Bye. Mwah.